Got a little bit late with the Randy Sanders and all that on our. Got a little bit late is what I'm trying to say on the commercials, so we're going to make up one here in our next break and such, and that's why, well, you heard about the apple orchard here coming out of our top of the hour break. My next guest, if you're a regular listener to the program, may not need an introduction because he's Josh Brown of Knockahoma Nation. Yeah, it's Thanksgiving, but the last awards in baseball were basically handed out, and Jonny Venters won the National League Comeback Player of the Year award. Now, most of the time, the old adage is that's the one award you don't want to win because it means that you had a bad year the year before. With Venters, Josh, I got to ask you a few things. I was reading about his return, and of course, this year, it began with the Rays, got into 66 games with the Braves in 2012, hadn't pitched in a major league game from 2012 until this past year, and the Braves traded him, got him from Tampa Bay, and it was sort of at the time like okay, well, you've got 7 guys in the bullpen, what makes this guy special? But this is an incredible story here, and I just wanted to ask you, Jonny Venters, where do you think he stands for the Braves as they go forward for 2019 and beyond?
Well, thanks for having me on, Marky. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Yes.
Always happy to talk baseball with you. Jonny Venters is more than a heartwarming story. The reason they got him, sure, he's a hometown guy. He got drafted by the Braves in 2003. He was amazing. Part of that last 3-inning punch in 2011 with him and O'Flaherty and Kimbrel. So he's a local cult hero in Atlanta. But they got him from Tampa because he was outstanding. The beginning of this year in Tampa, he was just dealing, and the Braves needed a formidable, lefty specialty guy coming out of the bullpen, and he was that guy. And so, they got him because of that, and the story is just gravy. The fact that he hadn't pitched in a Major League Baseball game since 2012, it is the coolest thing ever. Most guys, I would venture to say, would have quit, through all that. He has 4 surgeries. 3 of them were Tommy John surgeries. He almost made it back in 2016, and on July 2nd, 2016, he tore his ligament again. The guy, his knuckleball curve that he has is just nasty. And his ERA he's really better than his ERA because he's really a lefty specialist guy. He should really mostly pitch to lefties.
Yeah.
And against lefties this year, he had an opponent batting average of 131. Righties 269. So he's really, he's the guy to come in for lefties. You know how I feel about specialty pitchers and switching pitchers so many times in commercial breaks, but he is that guy. And for the Braves, not only ball curve, he taught Craig Kimbrel some things. So he's actually attributed from a lot of big time players actually attribute him to their success.
I'm impressed with your knowledge of the batting average, lefty versus righty, sub 200 against the lefties, and still a respectable 260 something against the righties. That should be worth something as well. We're talking Jonny Venters, Comeback Player of the Year, the 3rd Brave to win a major award this offseason, going with Manager of the Year. Power on the team, he still did something that in, I think, modern day baseball you can get away with a little bit better than in back in the day baseball, which was bat him first. So, and now the Rookie of the Year. So, you mentioned Venters and all that. Another thing, I'm trying to think of a player who may have missed, 6 years and came back. and it is. I'm trying really hard. I mean, Minnie Minogue. 3 Tommy John surgeries. Can you at all tell me how this? Because I'm guessing usually I've heard you take the tendon out of your one arm and you put it in the one that's broken in your pitching arm. Are they taking what, tendons from your legs or your neck, or does this guy not have the tendon that goes from your ankle to your heel anymore? Or what's going on here?
That's probably a little bit above my back in 2016, I interviewed Howard, who was at the time, Rockies pitching prospect from Cartersville, Georgia. I was living in Rome, Georgia at the time. And Sam was like a low A kind of guy. He's now made it to the big leagues. And Sam, this was 2016, had been working out at a place in North Atlanta. And he was just telling me kind of off record just how Jonny Venters is, how all the young kids down, his truck broke down going north on 75 one night at like 1 a.m. And Jonny Venters waited with him until like the wrecker got there for a couple of hours. You know, just like little things like that. Just a good dude from Pike County, Kentucky too. Pikeville, Kentucky.
There you go. And I'll tell you, so quasi-local within the region, I suppose. You know, Kentucky being a border state to looking for that and such. So, yeah, there you are. Hey, Josh Brown, I want to ask you this. Of course, we talked to Ken Hendricks, got some of the baseball stories that are hot stove league stories, but you know, I'm listening to some of the syndicated talk shows on our station here at 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities, and
to get noticed now because of travel ball. So you got a lot of kids they kind of check out. They might play football because for football, hey, $50 you get a helmet and some pads, you're off to the races.
That's very intriguing what you just said, because I know that one of the reasons they say, oh, people always grew up playing baseball because all you really needed was a bat and a ball, and the kids would play in the sandlot, and all this. And I mean, they play without gloves or what have you. And and even that, I mean, what's the first piece of sporting equipment romantically that every kid gets? The baseball glove. Come on. And I'm sure that it's still there to a certain extent. Don't get me wrong. Do you think they still are? More teams now seems to be more conversation about them going to the Dodgers, maybe the Nationals. Where do you think Real Muto goes to this offseason?
I think he either stays with Miami or to maybe maybe not the Dodgers, a high market team, just because he's gonna. They're asking for the moon for him. I don't think the Braves are players for him. I think that he's gonna go market team or he's gonna stay just because his price tag's so high. Chris. I think, and this is going to hurt some feelings, but I think maybe Sean Newcomb. You got Bryce Wilson. Everybody's for sale. There's at the end of the day, nobody is completely untouchable, but your quote unquote untouchables, I think, are, and I could be wrong, maybe Toussaint. I think they think highly of him. I think Kyle Wright is as untouchable as you can get if you're a Brave. I think Ian Anderson is an interesting name. I think he's got a lot of prospect allure, and I think that he's
folks. I mean, they're just not preparing pitchers to go length anymore, and it's, I think, one of the things about the game, a change that I don't like. But nevertheless, Newcomb, after that outing, he didn't fall off the table like Yohan Santana did when he completed his no-hitter, but he basically struggled against some heavy-hitting teams and beat some weaker teams and all that. If Newcomb is on the trade block, could that be any cause of concern for a potential suitor?
Well, I think he's still young enough and smart.
It's the potatoes, the stuffing, and all that. We have to separate that.